Hey guys, I'm Ryan Key from Yellowcard, and may the rock be with you.
Ryan, welcome back to May the Rock Be With You, mate. It's been 12 years since we last chatted. So,
Wow.
I know. I'd like to do
So
this.
that would have been like acoustic Ocean Avenue. Was that
Yeah,
around that time?
it was. It was exactly for that. But I always love to catch up. So, let's catch up. How have the last 12 years been for you?
Oh man. We're gonna be an hour late for the next interview. It has been I don't know, it's been amazing, it's been hard, it's been challenging, it's been really sad sometimes, it's been really hopeful at others. I when I talked to you last back in 2013, um, I was going through probably one of the hardest times of my entire life, um, in terms of just some real serious tragedy in my personal life, that lingered for a long time. And then on the back of that, um, it kind of back to back, my dog died and my
Oh, wow.
band broke up. It was
Yep.
just a really,
Jeez.
it was a really, the 2010s were not my favorite decade. Um, but man, did I learn a lot, and ended up all that sort of walked us into the pandemic. And whenever I talk about the pandemic, it's challenging because I don't want to make light of how um, just awful and tragic it must have been for millions of people all around the world. But I will say that for myself, I do think that that forced isolation was the best possible thing that could have happened to me at that moment in my life.
Wow.
Um, I had so much time to just sit with myself and really kind of say, what is going on with you and what do you do now? Where do we go from here? And
Mm.
if you look at, um, you know, what I was doing in terms of my professional career, I had made some music at that time. I'd made a couple of EPs after the band broke up, and I had toured on my own. And that was a wild experience to go from my time in Yellowcard and being just as spoiled as a musician can be and having everyone do everything for you and sleeping in a bunk on a tour bus to putting my work gloves back on and driving a van around in the snow and humping my gear, into a club to play in a bar. I went back and did that for a couple of years, but when I got kind of locked down, as we all did during the pandemic, I just started creating and I just started writing. And I made an EP of my own called Everything Except Desire that I think was the sort of culmination of all the music I wanted to make after Yellowcard. And had Yellowcard not gotten back together, that's certainly where I would have taken myself, musically in terms of sonic direction and just what I wanted to do. But I really, that time in 2020 and 2021 is, I think, where I started to find my footing again. And it's interesting the way life works because um, if I had gotten the call about playing Riot Fest in Chicago in 2022, that call came like mid 21. So we worked on that for a long time. Some of us in the band hadn't spoken for 5, 6 years at that
Oh,
point.
wow.
So it was a long road back to playing that show. And had I not had that time to work on myself, I don't know I would have been prepared for that phone call, much less prepared to be the person I needed to be on the back end, on the other side of that phone call,
Mm.
and be a part of what we're doing now. Um, so it's been, um, I would say, if you asked me the last 12 years, pick one word: growth. My word would be growth.
Beautiful.
2 words: personal growth. I mean, that's really, and also, for the band, a couple of words would be collective growth, because
Mm.
one thing that we have worked really hard on and discussed a lot in the early days of getting this back going again, back in 22, 23, when we were about to do that massive tour in the summer of 23, was just about being more kind to each other, just about having a little more openness in the group, in terms of, if you need something, don't be afraid to ask, and if something's bothering you, don't be afraid to bring it up, so that we can have an open dialogue and not let all of the shit fester the way it did for so many years. And in the end, was a huge part of leading to the demise of the band that we thought was going to be for the rest of our lives. We never thought we were going to do Yellowcard again. That wasn't the only reason. The personal relationships weren't the only reason, but they were certainly a factor. Um, and and 12 years later, after talking to you last, we're in the single most surreal, the biggest in terms of people coming out to see the band. The record we just made with Travis Barker plays drums on our whole entire album. I mean, we are in a chapter for this band that is, in our minds, just it's unheard of to be
Yeah.
doing what we're doing right now. And I think we're truly, if not already, we're very much, uh, on the cusp of this being bigger even than Ocean Avenue was in terms of, I mean, maybe not the album in terms of sales or whatever metric you want to use, but I just mean um, where we go from here as a band, the size of shows we get to keep playing, the opportunities that lie ahead. This might be a bigger moment for Yellowcard than Ocean Avenue was even. And
Wow.
after everything we've been through, that is really amazing to say out loud, and to feel every night when you walk out on stage. We are so pumped, dude. It's just,
Awesome.
how did we get here?
Yeah, I mean, no one saw this coming. No one expected a new Yellowcard album. It was on no one's bingo card for 2025, I can tell you right now. Why, for
Yeah.
you personally, was it the right time for a new album from Yellowcard?
Well, when we finished the tour in 2023, which was, the 20th anniversary of Ocean Avenue, um, it was the biggest tour we've ever done, um, by quite a large margin. We had to kind of look at each other and say, well, what do we do now? Because you don't go out for the 22nd anniversary of Ocean Avenue. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And we can't ride that wave forever. So either we give each other hugs and say, I'm so proud of you, brother, and that was the biggest thing we've ever done, and we walk away again, or we need to make a record.
Mm,
And if we're gonna make a record, we have to find the source. We have to find the thing that made people fall in love with Yellowcard 20 years ago. And we have to find it now in our 40s. People fell in love with us when we were in our 20s.
mm,
How do you do that? How do you find that sound? How do you find that energy? How do you make what you want to make and also what they want to hear? These are always the lines you walk as a songwriter. Well, I think, and you can take this how you want, but we belong to a genre that demands specific things. It is not as accepted in the genre we have found ourselves in to experiment as much as it may be in others.
mm,
That used to bother me. It doesn't anymore. Again, growth, learning, understanding how grateful I need to be and I am for the career that I have and the fact that I get to play music every day. I'll take a little bit of confinement by the genre if it means that I get to keep playing music with my friends and traveling all over the world and provide for my family with this being my job.
mm,
That's growth. But you go listen to the last two full-length efforts we made, and you can hear how much that bothered me. You can hear that we wanted to completely reinvent the wheel in terms of what Yellowcard was sonically with those records. And that didn't get everybody that excited about new music from Yellowcard.
mm,
So if we're going to make a record now, we had to explore, what does it mean for Yellowcard to make a record in 2025? What is it going to sound like? How do we make ourselves, how do we invest ourselves fully? Because to make people believe in your band and love the music you're making, you have to believe in your band. You have to love the music you're making. You can't just say, well, they want to hear something that sounds like Ocean Avenue. Let's listen to that album 100 times
mm,
and just recreate it. That's not going to work. And that's why I bring up the word, like, finding the source. It's like you got to discover what it was that made yourself fall in love with writing Yellowcard songs 20 years ago. And And what does that mean to you now, 20 years later? Um, we got really, really lucky, man. That's it. We got really lucky finding ourselves working with the team that we worked with on this album. We've never worked with songwriters before. We've never had any co-writers on an album ever, with the exception of Here I Am Alive, 2012. Southern Air was that album. Patrick Stump and I had written a song together a year or two before that, and I just hit him up and said, "Can we put this on the record?" So it wasn't like he was in the studio with the band and we were writing. We've never had co-writers work with us before, and part of my personal experience in this, and like saying, "How am I going to put you know put those clothes back on, put that hat back on, the being the lyricist and a songwriter in Yellowcard after so many years away and making music that is so far removed from this genre, listening to music that's so far removed from this genre. What do I do?" We have a longtime friend named Nick Long who ended up actually playing guitar in a band called Staring Back, which is where we picked up Ryan Mendez, our lead guitarist, who's been in the band since 2005 now. I mean, he's been in the band for 20 years. When he left Staring Back, Nick started playing, and they've remained close through the years. Nick is top of the mountain songwriter right now. I mean, he is working with everyone. And so when I brought up to the band, what would you guys think about working with other writers for the first time? We talked about, okay, that sounds like something we should explore, but it's got to be people we know. It's got to be friends. It's got to be guys who are like band first. It can't be, well, who's writing for this pop star or this hit maker? We need to work with people that will understand our dynamic and know who we are. And, so Ryan raised his hand quickly in the room and said, we need to work with Nick.
Yeah, cool.
Reached out to Nick. We had a couple of days on the books with him, and between the time that we organized it and it was actually happening, he called to say, "Hey, I mentioned to Travis Barker that I was going to be working with you guys," and he just said, "Well, bring him to the studio. I want to be in those sessions." And I mean, that's a true jaw on the floor moment. That's one of many things that have since followed of us being like the running gag in our band right now when anything cool happens, or even just before we go out on stage at night. Our show right now is pretty gnarly in terms of production and just anything we've ever done before. Someone will lean over to someone else and say, "Remember when we broke up?" I mean, that's kind of the running thing. And that was the first of many. Travis coming on board was just a very, how is this happening?
Yeah.
And so Nick really brought that to, he made that happen for us. The first couple sessions we did were so amazing. One of the songs on the album is called Barely Alive. That's the first song we wrote with Nick and Travis. And it ended up on the record pretty much in the same form that we demoed it. It's just such a cool thing that happened that way. And at the end of 4 days or so working together back in April of 2024, Travis just said, "Dude, I want to make a record. Let's make a record. I want to produce a record with you guys," and we walked away from that going, well, that has to happen, but how? We didn't have a record deal. We didn't have, money to spend on an album. It all, we did not know how this was going to work out. But it did. We found an amazing partner in Better Noise, our new label. They were so pumped on the concept and the idea of us put Yellowcard and Travis Barker in the same room and see what happens. And magic did happen, man. We did. We found the source. We found it. We wrote a record, in my opinion, that captures the passion and the energy, I think, in our songwriting that attracted people to our band in the early days. But we've had 20 years of life experience, of pain, loss, triumphs, and victories, all to talk about. And the lyrics are certainly not the lyrics I wrote when I was 25, 23, and it was just a perfect storm somehow that we found our way into making Better Days. And I don't remember ever, everything we've made post Lights and Sounds we've had the ability to know what people think about what we're doing. I mean, there were like message boards and stuff in the Ocean Avenue Lights and Sounds days, but everything in the 2010s, certainly, whatever we did, we knew what people thought.
Yeah.
Good and bad. I've never felt the groundswell of positivity s- surrounding new music from Yellowcard the way I feel it right now.
That's
And
amazing.
that is amazing.
Mm.
It's just such a good feeling.
That's so good. Now, you talked about sonically and you talked about growth and all those sorts of things. One song that really stood out for me on the album, I've had it for a little while now, City of Angels. Now
Mm,
that's different. That's great.
yeah.
That's beautiful. Can you tell us a bit about that song and how that came together?
Sure. I love that song because I spent most of my time away from Yellowcard producing EDM. So it's like it's a
Yeah.
electronic music's a big part of my life, and not necessarily like Vegas nightclub EDM. EDM is a loaded word. I'm really into kind of ambient electronica and stuff. But either way, it's a huge part of my life. So getting a piece of music on the album like this was a huge win for me. Uh, I'm so pumped that we were all into it and we love it as sort of this transition from side A to side B
Yeah.
of the record. And it was a demo that Travis had, honestly. It was not fully realized, even musically, in the way that you hear it on the album, but the general idea of it, that arpeggio was just there, and there were some program drums, and he just said, "Hey, I have this," and it hasn't gotten used for anything. And I immediately, my ears pricked up, and I was like, "Dude, this is my shit. This is yes. If you're down to let me write to this, I'm going to take this home and work on it." And the story does get kind of even cooler. And well, I take that back. Cooler is not the right word. Interesting,
Hmm.
because we were in LA during. We did about 4 sessions in California. We spent a year making the album. We've never taken this long to make a record, and so we were there during the fires earlier this
Oh,
year
wow.
in LA. We had to cancel several days in the studio and extend our trip and stuff because Travis had to get home to Calabasas to make sure his house was okay. I mean, it
Yeah.
was insanely stressful. And we were close. We were our Airbnb that we were staying in was just on the back side of the hill from the Palisades. I mean, we could see the smoke
Yeah.
every day coming home to the house. Um, and Travis had that demo, and then separately he brought up to me during that 2 week period that he felt really strongly we should write something, you know, um, about being there, about experiencing this.
Hmm.
And so when I get into the part of a record where the lyrics are really happening, most of them happen at 4 o'clock in the morning with a glass of wine in my hand, and everyone else in the Airbnb is asleep. Everyone else in the hotel is whatever. And so one night I was listening to that demo, and it just started. It just started to happen, and I started to write, and I ended up writing a song that is most definitely personifying and writing about the city of Los Angeles. It didn't so much end up being about, the tragedy and the fires that in a direct way, but I've had such a love-hate relationship with that city my whole adult life. Um, you I fell prey to a lot of the young Hollywood bullshit when I was in my 20s, and it was a very much a detriment to my development and my growth as a person. I really was lost for a lot of time that I was there. And um, I, again, when you can zoom out 20 years later, being a fully formed adult and kind of exploring all of your life experience, I wanted to focus on, okay, force yourself to write about the good things that have come to you because of your time in this city,
Yeah.
because without it, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be talking to you. Without the decision for our band to leave our hometown in Jacksonville, Florida, and move out west to California and find our way to Capitol Records, and the friends and the people I've met and made over the years through my community in Los Angeles, Travis, all of this, it
Yeah.
wouldn't have happened without Southern California, without Los Angeles. And so we have a song that's 20 years old from Lights and Sounds called City of Devils. And I just thought, and that song is very much focused on how I could feel myself kind of losing myself to the darker sides of the city of Los Angeles, the Tom Petty version of LA and the Valley, and so this time I wanted to write about what LA actually means to me in terms of what it's given me, um, and the opportunity it's provided for me, and not just myself. I mean, make it bigger than yourself. It's a place where so many people go and realize their dreams to become an artist. And so love or hate it, it will always be a part of my life. I'm leaving in 3 days to go there. It will always be a part of my life. And so that song is also really it's really special to me, both from a sonic standpoint and also from the lyrical content.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Now, like you said, we're going to talk for hours. We are about out of time. I just got a couple more for you, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Lastly, what I do with everyone is I get you to look ahead to the future with a prediction. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. In 2026, Yellowcard
Mm.
will.
Uh, Shock the world.
Nice. Awesome. Like you
Yeah.
have made a brilliant record, man. It's absolutely amazing from start to finish. It flows
Thank
so
you.
well. So I'm really, really happy to hear it again. It's so good.
Thank you. And I say that because there is that we have something more that's coming in 2026. I think that's gonna
Mm.
uh, really excite people. So it's dude. We just got our first #1 single in the States at alternative radio of our whole career. It's just where I really feel like this is just getting started. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but I know 2026 is gonna rip.
Awesome, man. I love that. Ryan, thank you so much for your time, man. I could have talked to you for hours about this. It's so great to hear
Cheers.
you so passionate about it and so excited about it. And welcome back, Yellowcard, mate. Good to see you.
Cool. Well, hopefully we're back in Australia, at the end of the cycle as we always do, and we'll talk again for that.
Excellent, buddy. I'll talk to you then. Thanks, mate.
All right.
See
Cheers,
ya.
dude.
Bye.
See you, Troy.
Hope you enjoyed our in-depth chat with Ryan from Yellowcard about the new album Better Days. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to our channel and check out maytherockbewithyou.com for everything else.